Good morning, America. This is part 3 of my inspirational video. Today I'm going to talk about several different topics. The first one I want to talk about, which made me really angry, and I'm not going to stay quiet about, is, I heard Donald Trump speak last night, and he's saying that we have stupid people in government. We do have stupid people. That I agree with him, but the rest of the things he's saying doesn't make any sense. To me, he sounds like a Hitler, a ruthless dictator, a fascist who believes in only one form of government. There are not different parties that represent a country. He sounds like a Hitler, and a ruthless dictator like Hitler, Fidel Castro, Mussolini, and many others. He has no foreign policy experience. He has no political experience. He has no diplomacy, and he has no diplomatic immunity. In other words, he has no experience at all in politics. To me, like I said, he sounds like a fascist, a dictator, and he doesn't believe what he's saying. If he becomes president, this country is going to be worse than it is already. There's going to be more debt, more wars. And he said there's $19 trillion in debt. I do believe that, but I don't believe he's a good leader for this country because, he's acting like a ruthless dictator, like I've mentioned already twice. To me, a good leader is like Abraham Lincoln, because he fought in the Battle of Gettysburg and he defended for freedom. Another example of a good leader would be Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi starved himself just so that people can have freedom. And Martin Luther King practiced what he preached. He wanted equality for America. He supposedly ended segregation because blacks weren't allowed in the same place as whites. And also Rosa Parks refused to get up from the bus just because of her skin color. Come on, there's so many things that this guy Donald Trump is ignorant about. He has no diplomacy, no diplomatic immunity. He has no international relations experience. He has no political experience. He can own the whole world. He can own 5-6 buildings in New York, Montreal, wherever the hell he owns buildings. He's a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. He has no political experience. A good example of somebody with a political experience would be Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, because they know how to argue, and they know how to counteract with people. In Congress, the House of Representatives, to me, the Congress, is all messed up because, they're ruining this country and they don't represent the creed of the Bill of Rights, the Constitution anymore, which says, we the people of the United States of America, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We have no equality in this country. There's too much discrimination, worse than before when Martin Luther King was a leader. Blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians, it's all a mess. There's no respect for humanity anymore in this country, and other countries are threatening us with terrorism, bioterrorism, and ISIS is an example. You can't negotiate with terrorists. They don't even believe in their own mother. Look at the World Trade Center. They don't believe in themselves. They're crazy. They're fanatic. How can you be an example for America when these terrorists, they're not negotiating people. They're ruining the principle of this country, these politicians. They're pocketing our tax dollars, raising education. People who are smart and intellectual like myself, I'm being held back by society because of the fact that, we can't progress because education is too expensive. Maybe gas prices rise and fall. My point is we can't live in a perfect world, but if we speak up and be heard, we can make it a better world. I believe there's too much ignorance in the world and people don't read between the lines and analyze situations. Another thing I want to talk about is about ruthless dictators. For example, the dictator from my country, he said he's not a communist, he's a socialist. To me, it's the same thing because he doesn't practice what he preaches. And he said history will absolve him because supposedly he defended himself in a court of law to become a dictator. But to me, he's just crazy and insane, and he's a fascist, he's a socialist, he's a communist. He doesn't believe what he says. He tricked the whole country, and supposedly he was going to change the country. He came in tanks, with soldiers, and he had a crucifix and a pigeon on his neck because supposedly he was going to change the country, but he manipulated people and he made him believe that his credentials and his credibility was true when it is a false ideology. I mean, I give him that he was a genius, he was smart, and he knows how to speak, and he has charisma. But I also have charisma, and I read a lot, and I love to write, and I'm planning on writing a book, like I said in my other speeches, and my other inspirational videos, about 3,000 or 4,000 pages. Maybe I'll write more than one book. I read a lot of poetry. I read Tupac Shakur's poetry, Jose Marti, Robert Frost, Edgar Allan Poe, Langston Hughes, people in history. I read the Bible every now and then, and nobody has any principle anymore in self-dignity. I'm not gonna stay quiet. I'm gonna speak my mind, and no matter what happens to me, hopefully there are people that have my back. I mean, God bless America, and I hope this country changes, because right now we're in a lot of trouble by other countries threatening us, and terrorists, ISIS. And one more thing, to go back to Donald Trump, he said that New Mexico is a new China. First of all, New Mexico is not a communist country. China is. How the hell can he say that New Mexico is a new China when they're two different countries and they have nothing to do with each other? Maybe he says that a lot of immigrants, shouldn't be allowed in this country, but not all immigrants are bad, because I'm an immigrant. I came from a communist country where you have no freedom of speech. There's only one prince, there's only one party, which is held by a ruthless dictator, which right now is Raul Castro. I mean, how can you negotiate and shake hands with a communist like President Obama did when, there's no credibility? I mean, it's all a trick, it's all a lie. And, the U.S. Embassy in Cuba is also a trick. It's not going to last very long. I appreciate the United States trying to negotiate with communist countries, but, I believe if the people there don't do something, it's easier said than done. But if, a large mass of people don't do something, the communism in Cuba and China and North Korea will never end. It'll always be there. And, I also know the fact that there are nuclear missiles in those countries. And, they threaten us every day. But, we have to find a leader that's strong and bold and will not stay quiet. That's all I got to say for today. I'm sure I have many other ideas, but, that's all I got to say. God bless America. And y'all, if you're hearing this and you want to support me and have my back, I appreciate it. I don't believe I'm saying anything wrong. Thank you. Have a good day.